There we go. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Let me turn this down just a little bit. All right. Well, I want to make sure there's no extra audio playing in the background while I'm talking here. I'm still doing a little bit of experimenting with the technology that I have access to, just trying to enhance everything that I am currently doing with my media sources here. Uh, all right, cool. All right. Once again, happy Monday, everybody. The architect, you know the name at Sean Garvey ATL on Instagram, Sean Garvey, Facebook, Sean Garvey everywhere, SeanGarveyOnline.com. Reach One Communications. This is not your regular broadcast. I wanted to jump on here and give you an update on how things are going on my end. I appreciate some of the people who are checking in and who are logging on to Instagram right now, as well as on Facebook, even on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining with me this evening. Before I go any further, I got to say peace in transitioning to two people, two recognized people, Erica Ash and Chino Excel, both entertainers. It is reported that Chino Excel passed away, and I found out about actress Erica Ash earlier, which is very bittersweet, unfortunate, but I like to say peace in transitioning because I am now coming to terms that it's not necessarily a death, but a transition whenever someone is not here in the physical spirit. I'm sorry, in the physical form, but is here in the spirit, but transition into a new life, into whatever that new physical form is, and may God bless them and whoever else that we have lost today. Um, Speaking of Erica Ash, her transition is a constant reminder that life is precious. Um, I know the narrative that we used to say a lot is life is too short, but I like to say life is precious and life can be longer when you get to share it with someone. Um, and every time I do my meditation or I do some sort of reflection, I think about my own mortality. I turned 40 earlier this year, and I'm proud to be 40. But at the same time, 40 definitely hits you like that. And I know they say that at times, you know, um, feeling old or whatever that looks like, or whatever you want to call it, is a state of mind. But when you get to a certain age in your life, you look at things differently, your perspective on things change, and the more older you get, you start to appreciate life a little bit more than you did 40 years earlier or when you was younger. Um, why do I say all of that? I say that because, as you all know, most of you all, or some of you all know, I have experienced some health issues over the past couple of months, and it's not too major. Um, but at the same time, it causes me to really be more proactive in how I carry myself. I've had people hit me up asking me if I'm okay and texting me and letting me know that I am in their thoughts. And I'm very appreciative of that. But what I've been experiencing on and off thus far has really took a toll on me mentally and somewhat physically. And every day I'm learning to make sure that I take care of myself mentally and physically. Because if I don't take care of myself mentally and physically, I would not be productive. I would not be doing all the things, all the wonderful things that I'm doing occasionally every single day, especially when it comes to doing the things that I love doing. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Since February of this year, I was admitted to the hospital here in Florida while I'm on assignment, and I had high blood pressure, and it stemmed from a panic attack that I had. And thank you to all of the people who have reached out to me in support. And I appreciate Dr. Dixon. Shout out to Dr. Dixon of Aloe Hills for blessing me with this great immune system treatment that I've been taking. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Dixon, if you're watching and or listening. Um, and you know, it's been a roller coaster for me. Some days are great, some days are not great. And I've always been a advocate when it comes to positivity and making sure that your mental is intact. Um, what stemmed from me having HBP and other things, it involves a lot of stress. And also, being 40, I somewhat have experienced a form of early midlife crisis, if you will. Um, a lot of things that I've experienced, from being stressed, whether it's at work or in my personal life, it's all because I'm alone. Um, and when I say that I am alone, it's not to say that I don't have a support system. I do have a support system. I'm alone because um, I've been battling with what appears to be somewhat heartbreak syndrome. And you probably asking yourself, well, what is syndrome? What is that? Like, I never heard of heartbreak syndrome, right? And without making it sound too technical or anything, it's a syndrome where you experience that level of heartbreak and it takes a toll on your health to where you could find yourself in a deeper hole of being depressed, isolated, and other medical conditions that come along with it. I mean, even having heart problems from having heartbreak syndrome. Um, but that's my version of it. Without being too technical about it. But I've been experiencing that for quite some time. Not only this year, but since 2020. And I never really told the full story on why I do the things that I do and why I post some of the things that I posted on social media on and off over the years, especially during post pandemic, is because I've been walking unhealed from things personal and professional, but more so personal. And let me tell you why, just to be very candid and vulnerable with you. So, I was in a relationship with someone from 2018 all the way up to 2020. And we're coming up on August 4th, which is going to be on a Sunday. And August 4th is something that really, really is memorable to me to some extent. And it's because August 4th is the day that I met my then girlfriend at the time. Well, she wasn't my girlfriend on that day immediately. It was our first date. Let me say that for the record. It was our first date. And I remember that day very clearly because that was also the same day that Spike Lee's Black Klansman came out on August 4th. But that wasn't a part of the date. It just so happened that that movie came out the same date as my date with the person that I was going to end up falling in love with. Um, but August 4th to me will go down in my history as one of the most memorable moments in my life because when I first met this person on August 4th, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I was late to the date. You know what I mean? It wasn't really so much like a blind date because I've already seen her pictures and what she looked like beforehand. But we enjoyed each other's company that night. It was so magical. It was so magical. If you had to ask me to describe the date in one word, it was magical. And that was August 4th, 2018. So we're talking about several years ago, right? But it seemed like yesterday to me. Um, and we became somewhat exclusive the following month, which was September. And I remember going to Kenny Leon's stage play at the South Fulton Arts Center in the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia at the time. And when I came back from the stage play, because me and this person, we were dating other people at that time after our first date, and our dates didn't go well. that night in September. And so we just came to the realization that, hey, look, I like you, you like me. Let's get together. You know what I mean? Let's become boyfriend and girlfriend. Um, and so we went through different stages in our relationship, from boyfriend, girlfriend, friends and lovers, and everything else in between, right? And just like any couple, we've had our ups and downs. I came into the relationship not knowing what I was getting myself into. Obviously, this woman that I was dating at the time was only 2 years older than me. And I remember she told me at one point in time I wasn't her type because she was so used to dating a certain caliber of men or caliber of people, if you will. And I was used to dating women that I saw myself with, or that were kind of like on the nerdy side and what have you. And she happened to be on the nerdy side, but she wasn't really too much of a nerd. She had a little bit of an edge to her, which I like. um but we still hanged in there as much as we could, as long as we could, all the way up to the later part of 2020. And that year, which I was going in thinking that, oh man, despite COVID and despite everything that's been going on, I still went into the year thinking that this was going to be the best year of my life and that this person was going to end up being my wife. And whenever the pandemic ended, I was going to just be more of a better person, better lover, better friend, better boyfriend, whatever to her. And it ended. It ended. I don't want to go into too much detail on why it ended and how it ended, but it ended. And then I realized that that year I lost two of my best friends. I've already lost one of my best friends who succumbed to cancer. And this person who I thought was going to be my wife, that I was going to become a part of her family, um, ended up moving away. And that's when our relationship ended. And fast forward to now, we no longer have any type of communication ties. Um, and for 4 years, I have been on over 100 dates. I'm just adding a little bit of comic relief to the scenario, but I have been on over 100 dates, um, both in person and online. And I, was in the mindset of thinking that, oh, I'm gonna get over this person and this, that, and the other. And then when you go through all these different people and trying to get over your ex, you find yourself lost in the midst of what you're trying to accomplish. And nothing never really materialized from anything in my pursuit of trying to fill a void. And that left me in a state of depression and isolation and being withdrawal from people, um, that just wanted to see if I was okay. You know. But what does that have to do with my high blood pressure and all the other things that um, came into existence now? Is because um, I have to do everything on my own. And thank you to some of the people that I recruited, including Natalie, who is the marketing strategist for Honey. Shouts to Natalie. Um, I'm having to walk alone and do things on my own, without that backbone, without that part to really like be my helpmeet, if you will. Um, and it's something that I have to get used to every single day. Um, but it does add a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and even depression at times, to where I just have to just deal with it the best way I know how, the best way I can, and to just make sure that I stay healthy as much as possible. But yeah, so the things that I've experienced and why I have this condition and other things pertaining to my health is because um, of being alone at times, dealing with heartbreak, dealing with low self-esteem, and dealing with depression at times. It's already hard enough that I'm away from home while I'm in Florida, but it's harder when you don't have your better half next to you, if that makes any sense. Um, when I think of August 4th, I think of that date from 2018, and I know people will say in the comments or will say, "Oh man, you need to get over it and everything." Sometimes getting over things take time, you know, takes time. I I sometimes reminisce of how it used to be between me and this other person who I thought was my best friend. Not just only a lover, not just only my girlfriend, not only just my significant other or somebody to go on dates with or hang out with, but somebody who is actually my best friend. And I saw more than just us hanging out. I saw that this person is going to be my significant other. And let me make sure I put it in the Instagram if you're just checking. We're talking about an update on my and my dating life. Let me put that in the. Oh, let me also put this here as well too. Um, I want to make sure I put that in there as well. Okay. So you all know that I've been doing a GoFundMe over the past couple of weeks, and it's pretty much a campaign for people to donate whatever they can, whether it's a dollar, 50 cents, or more, to my medical bills, which we'll get into in just a few moments. But it's never too late to show your love and support. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the chat here for you all. Uh, go ahead. Should have been pinned. Okay, cool. Um, Let me pull it screen as well. I can get it to do what it needs. Um, so I went out there for a moment. I a good fun for anybody that wants to voluntarily contribute to needs. As I am still from my high, and I do mean high in capitals, blood pressure. That's the goal. Cash App, which is dollar sign reach communications. If I can get, and also the are watching me live on Instagram. So a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. There you go. Okay. It's just taking so long for it to do what it got to do. Okay. So you got two choices. You can either go fund me at the link that I had up just a few months ago, or you can cash out me to well, it says here to support the content, but if you want to also donate to my medical needs as I'm recovering from my high blood pressure, you're more than welcome to. Any dollar counts, any amount counts, as long as it's from the heart. Still running that if you wish to contribute to the campaign. If you can't contribute to the campaign, just keep me in your thoughts. That is worth just as much as contributing to the campaign. Mm, So, for those who are just coming on, I wanted to live for a few moments and give you an update on my health. I know I've had some people asking me and questioning me if I'm okay and stuff like that. I'm okay. I've been experiencing some on and off and hearing and also dealing with my high blood pressure, um, stemming from stemming from depression and anxiety. But I also talked about August 4th, which is the date that I first met my then girlfriend at the time. And that occurred in 2020, put me in a state of depression where I started experiencing a lot of health issues and physical issues, you know, and also dealing with 40. So if you ever been 40 or up on 40, you're definitely going to feel it, you know, if it was once upon a time 40, um, a long time ago or most recently. And experiencing early midlife crisis is definitely no joke. It's only just at a point in my life right now where I'm looking at things differently. I'm thinking mortality. I'm looking at things from a different lens and practicing becoming a better human and a better advocate for mental health, you know. Um, but most importantly, Okay, I am sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what just happened. That's the first time I've been on a live for me. This Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. It doesn't want me to speak to you all. That was strange. But I'm back. I'm back, and I want to make sure that I stay connected with you all. So we're gonna keep this thing going. But like I said before, we experienced that weird interruption. Um, I was saying that, at 40 and looking at things differently, has really been a very huge game changer to me and to my mental health. But most importantly, dealing with heartbreak. I know everybody that's watching me right now has dealt with some level or some form of heartbreak that it took a toll on your mind, body, soul, heart, spirituality, whatever that framework looks like. And it really took a toll on everything, even to my mindset, where I felt like I wasn't good enough for anybody. Uh, like I said just a few moments ago, I said that I've been on over 100 dates and that never really materialized into anything serious or anything more than just a friendship. And I found myself having to be put into the friend zone a lot. You know, and that's a term that a lot of people use in the dating scene whenever something doesn't materialize and that person that you're going on a date with or what have you only sees you as a friend and they put you in the friend zone. And when you are put into the friend zone, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, and that's what I've been experiencing for 4 years is being put into the friend zone. And then when you realize that you are being put into the friend zone, at least from my observation, the same people that put me into the friend zone, I don't even really hardly communicate or talk to them. Or I don't even talk to them at all. It may only just be a couple of weeks when I communicate with them, and then we reach a point or I reach a point where it's like, I got too much stuff going on, or I already have too many friends. Why am I continuing to communicate with this person when this person only sees me as a friend? I already have enough friends. So that friend zone is being serious. If you ever been friend zone, put it in the chat. Let me know how you feel about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've been put into the friend zone a lot. I've been um put into situations where I thought I liked this person and I thought this person liked me, but it never really materialized into anything serious. It's just, and the other caveat is this. Um, you might be a person that is unhealed. I know what it's like to be unhealed before where I was unhealed. And I look at it like this. Unhealed people attract unhealed people. Let me say that one more time. Unhealed people attract unhealed people. And where, you know, when you put yourself out there in the universe, the energy that you put out there in the universe will come back to you. And fact, not just only an opinion, a fact. You attract what you put out there. And the dating scene today, so many unhealed people or people that are consumed to social media a lot where people are telling them you are unhealed. You know, and that can be very unhealthy. You know, I at times listen to other podcasters and content creators that are speaking from their experience or speaking from this experience. But the more and more I listen to these podcasts, the more it becomes very toxic to my soul, to my body, and to my mental. And I have to have the discipline to stop consuming to them. And it's not knocking anybody in the space of wanting to put out whatever platform they want to put out there and stuff. It's just that it catches up to you to where the more you consume, the more you become. And I never want to be that, episodes before where I've either about these content creators, I mean, I've had content creators come on my shows before, other ones, but you have to ask yourself, what's the change? Like, what after all of this? What is the end game from doing these episodes and these shows of heartbreak and toxicity and trauma and this, that, and the other, and well, what change are you bringing forth? Because I'm all about action. I'm not just about ranting and talking. That's the easy part. Ranting and talking is the easy part. But I'm all about and I'm all on game, you know. Um, so I had to come out of that bubble. And what I did today when I was working behind the computer, I just listened to some jazz, and it's been a minute since I've listened to some jazz to really calm me down. People don't like listening to jazz. I know people personally that don't care for jazz. It's not their cup of tea. My cup of tea. I like jazz. Um, that's a fun fact about Sean Garvey, by the way. Um, but when I listen to jazz, it just does something to me. It calms me down, you know. And sometimes I would say to myself, without jazz, I don't know what I would do, what I would be, or if my sanity be intact. You know what I mean? But that's one of the things that calm me down whenever I may be facing some form of anxiety. But everybody's different. Um, but back to August 4th, I was on my date with my then girlfriend. And it's not to confuse the date that I was on previously a couple of months ago that I talked about on Facebook. This was a different date that I was on years ago, back August 4th, 2018, pre-pandemic, pre-pandemic. And when I think about August, I just think about a special time in my life of meeting the person that I thought was going to be my wife. And this person who I still think to this very day is a very extraordinary individual who is out there doing some great, great, great things. Um, my world just became crashing down after she no longer wanted to be with me romantically. And I thought that going on dates and going through this experience of thinking to myself whether, I was going to be in a monogamous relationship or in an open relationship or whatever relationship that looked like, it was just all realizing to me that because after her, I already knew in my mind what I wanted, but it's more so of, am I going thing that I wanted? Or there other technical difficulty. We're not gonna be on here too long. Um, and I know that in life you can't get everything that you want. You know what I mean? On the world that we wish that we could get everything, but in reality we can't. 4 years um of being out there in the dating and going through all these different people and all that, I realized in the back of my mind, I either her or I wanted somebody that was a replica of her, you know, because it was nothing like being in a relationship with somebody who held you down, who calmed you down at times, who helped you when you needed help, and was there for you when you needed a shoulder to cry on. And she was all those things, and I went through periods of, going into my mental state and think to myself, again, maybe it's karma towards me for my past mistakes, uh, other than that parts, or I didn't do the right thing, or take in things that was important to her serious. I was only thinking about myself. And that's another thing too. Like when you are in a relationship with somebody, it's not about you, it's about each other. And I think that's what people go wrong with in relationships nowadays is when people go into the relationships thinking about themselves and not about the other person, you know, and that can stir up other mental health issues and mental health problems. Um, but yeah, I suffered in silence on and off. I went to go see a number of therapists that I was recommended to go see post pandemic. Um, and it worked for a little bit, but I didn't put in the work. There was a time where I didn't put in the work. I just said, just gonna figure it out. I'm just gonna get back out here in this dating scene and I'm it be masculine and figure it out. So, um, and then the mental space that 1980 WAOK uh, and from heartbreak. It wasn't just an idea that I pitched to the radio station at the time because the station needed something different outside of political conversations. Um, but I wanted to bring the show mass as a way for me to cope with my own mental health issues. And the show is successful. It's still successful to the I made a major in the uh, going conversation, but it stemmed from heartbreak. It stemmed from my then girlfriend, now ex girlfriend, ex lover, breaking my heart, which a lot of people didn't know. It stemmed from that. Soul Dates Live also that show not only for people to find their soulmate, but I also created the show to see if I could find my soulmate on there. And it's still a journey, it's still a journey. You know, the interesting thing about us artists, I consider myself to be an artist, artists things from our personal experiences and what we're going through at the time, what we're dealing with at the time. Um, so that's where Soul Days Live comes from, as well as the mental space, which is now titled Therapy Ain't No Joke. Um, you know, and I'm really good at creating content that comes from whatever personal circumstances I go through or that somebody goes through in their lifetime. I'm even working on a new rom-com podcast series called The Night We Met on the Train. That comes from that. That comes from heartbreak and the modern day world and the dating scene nowadays. So everything that I create and or curate and produce, direct or what have you, it comes from my own life story of heartbreak and just being in spaces and in places of dealing with things that are beyond your control, you know, because each and every one of us is going to deal with some form of pain or some form of grief or heartbreak, like I did. Because when my then girlfriend at the time broke things off with me and stopped communicating with me, I felt like a part of me died, you know. Part of me died and part of me felt very empty and to the point where I no longer wanted to be on this planet anymore. Um, and then there was a point in time where I had suicidal thoughts. I'm an Aquarius, which I know that doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, but you may have heard it before that a lot of Aquarians are people that love very, very hard. And I consider myself a person who loves very, very hard because I think part of me comes from my mom. And my mom is the type of person who loves very, very hard. She's very warm and very soft spoken and, you know, walks around the world in peace. She's not the type of person who doesn't like conflict, or arguments or anything like that. She's all about peace, you know, and I'm all about peace as well too. But I realize that everybody's not as peaceful as you, and you got to handle certain things accordingly, but in a very rational, amicable manner. At least if you can try to, you know. Um, and I thought I was doing that, in my last relationship. I wanted to be peaceful, remain peaceful and stuff. But like I said, just like in any relationship, couples go through their ups and downs and things of that sort, you know. Um, but as for me, in the relationship that I was in the past, it was just more so of dealing with a person who challenged me on so many things that I should have been either aware of or more sensitive of. And maybe I wasn't ready for all of that. And, you know, maybe I was in a place where maybe I deserved it. I said it a few moments ago. I was just thinking of a lot of things in my mind at the time, karma from my past mistakes with other people and maybe just getting a feel of what real heartbreak is, even though I experienced heartbreak before that last relationship. Um, but I look at it as a teachable moment, and as a way to grow and a way to humble yourself. Um, so it's definitely a teachable moment for me. Everything in life is a teachable moment for me. Um, and that's where the humility comes into place, is learning the journey, learning all that you can about life in order to pay it forward to the next person. Um, but yeah, it's been a very rocky 4 years. Um, one of the reasons why I still maintain and keep myself busy, because while I'm doing all these great things and programming content, producing content, doing my humanitarian efforts here in Florida, and doing all these wonderful things is to keep me busy. Because, if I wasn't busy and I was just, somewhere throwing my own pity party, I would be in a very worse situation than I am in now. You know, and that's not the example that I want to show to the next generation, you know? Um, but yeah, I've had people ask me about my last date. Not from 2018 to 2020, but my recent one from earlier this year. And it's nothing really to update as much. We will do a follow-up episode on Soul Days Live in August. We do have a new episode coming up on August 4th, which takes me back to August 4th, because the date that I met my ex-girlfriend now is the same day that we're going to be having a brand new, spanking new episode of Soul Dates Live. And that is this coming Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are going to go live, and then the episode will air again Monday night, same time at 9 p.m. The same time that you seeing me right now at 9 p.m. But I apologize in advance for starting late. I had some unforeseen situations that occurred that didn't cause me to it did cause me, I'm sorry, that did cause me to start late than expected. But I wanted to make sure that I come on live and engage with you guys, ladies and gents, and let you all know how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. how I'm healing from my um, history, uh, from my last relationship. It's 4 years. It don't seem like a long time for me, but it may seem like a long time for a lot of people. Um, 2020 seems like it was yesterday, just like 2018 seems like it was yesterday to me when I met the woman that I thought I was going to marry. And the breakup and how things ended, it definitely took a toll on me very bad. And that's why I went through a lot of stress. And, you know, the high blood pressure kicked in, and the depression kicked in, the isolation kicked in, and everything else kicked in because, I at times feel very alone. You know, I at times feel very alone. And like I mentioned earlier, I do have a support system, but they also have families. They also have other support systems to attend to as well. But I'm very appreciative of the ones that reach out to me, that connect with me, that check in with me. And I advise that you do the same thing on your end as well. If someone family member or a friend that's going through something, please, do your check-ins with them, check on them and see how they are doing. And then they should do the same thing for you too. You know, that's where community comes in. Community is all about looking out for each other. That's the world that I came from. Community, the big C word. Um, so yeah, but I wanted to just let you all know how I'm doing. Um, like I said, we got another Soul Days Live coming up in August, one coming up August 4th, and we are working on another one at the end of August, or at least towards the end of August. So we're working on two new episodes in August next month, just around the corner. And then we got my new therapy show, Therapy Ain't No Joke, the continuation of the mental space coming in September. And then my rom-com series that I am working on called The Night We Met on a Train. That won't be released until next year. So it's me staying busy, me staying afloat, and being the artist that I am, creating content from the heart, from the soul, and from life experiences. I'm looking forward to bringing these projects to life and to give you all an illustration of real content, real storytelling. Um, so yeah, but not to worry, everybody. I'm doing okay. I appreciate the love and support. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but I really appreciate it. Just in general, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. Everybody is very in intense mode, especially with quote unquote this season. And I decided to no longer talk about anything political. I don't want to talk about anything tying in with politics. I don't want to engage in any conversations because that creates division, and we're already seeing it. We see it every 4 years or every 2 years, you know. But I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about that. Um, I took it upon myself to not even engage in conversations with people about it privately. I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to entertain it. You know what I mean? Each is on though, but I'm just not in that space to talk about anything political, especially not in this season. I'm all about healing, and I'm all about advocacy, and you know making sure that the support system is still ongoing, and making sure that you are good mentally, making sure that I'm good mentally, you know, um, and just being vulnerable, you know. So that's just where I'm at mentally, spiritually. Once again, the Cash App, $ Reach One Communications. Not only you can show your support to my platform, but if you want to just make a contribution, you're more than welcome to. Any amount counts. I gladly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Stephen, for checking in. You gave it your best. That's all you can do. I was never given a chance. He also goes on to say, never give up. Sometimes real men get lonely. And he also says, it's okay. All of us go through this. Stay strong. I appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you so much. Yeah. Um, Black men, we do need to speak out more. We do need to speak out more and not suffer in silence either. You know, both men and women need to be vulnerable enough every day to speak out and to have a support system or create your own support system. Um, you definitely got to stay strong. You definitely got to, because if we don't, who will, right? Um, so I think that's very important. As a black man like myself, I'm already dealing with so much, every single day. The isms, which I don't want to get into too much in this dialogue here, but I'm glad that I have done a service, not a disservice, but a service to create content which allow men and women of all races and of all communities to come on my platform and to speak out about their circumstances, about their situations, and about their life story. And I'm just very fortunate to continue to bring mental health awareness as well as curating episodes and podcasts on mental health. I'm working on getting my certification as a CPS, short for Certified Peer Specialist. Um, but I also want to make sure that I do my due diligence in helping others that are either voiceless or helping others that may not have access to the right resources that they need to have to eradicate or to combat mental illness. And it's going to take more than just a radio show or a podcast or a media platform, but it's going to take more than just those entities, you know. Um, so yeah, um, as a person who has been in media for 21 years, um, I've talked to a lot of people, celebrities, people of influence, people in the political arena, and just everyday people telling their stories. Um, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and the one thing I've learned is to not give up. Like Stephen mentioned just a few moments ago, is not to give up because um, I realize that people out here need me. You know, and when the people need you, you need them. It's like a two-way street, if you will. Um, my grandfather, and I apologize in advance if I'm rambling, but we're almost done. But I just want to make sure that I'm vulnerable with you guys as much as possible. When my grandfather, who I call Pops, Rex Garvin Sr., when he passed away in 2013, um, part of me died as well because I was getting so much wisdom and knowledge from him, and I was still so hungry. I still had an appetite to get a lot of wisdom out of him. And I didn't even say goodbye. I didn't even get an opportunity to even spend more time with him in his final days. I thought that he was going to live longer to at least see 100, you know? Um, but I didn't get an opportunity to. And it's the same way I felt with my then girlfriend at the time. We just stopped communicating, and as much as I wanted to pick up the phone and just call her and stuff, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want her to hate me, right? And you know, sometimes as people, as human beings, we do everything in our power to not let the other person hate us, we do so much to make sure that they have love for us, or do everything to not make them upset, do everything that we can to make them happy. But happiness starts within yourself. It starts within yourself. And if you're not happy within yourself, you can't make anybody happy. um I'm sorry, but happiness starts within yourself. It does. In so many ways, and in the years that I've been spending time alone and becoming this workaholic, I realized that I wasn't unhappy. I'm sorry, I wasn't happy. I was unhappy, but I was making other people happy. you know? I was so busy making other people happy that I wasn't happy. But I felt that my happiness lied within me and my significant other at the time. So here I am out here in the world making other people happy, doing things that I felt was happy to me. But um, when you're out here and you're making other people happy, you realize that the other person at home isn't happy, and you try to do everything you can to make this person happy and that person happy and stuff, you know, and you're not happy at the end. You're not. And when you're not happy, it puts you in a dark place. And I think, as human beings, there's going to be times where we're not going to be happy. I can't imagine being in a world with a person or with people that are happy all the time. Like, I never met a person that has went through an entire day being uh, not happy. Um, I never met that person. So, and people are so used to seeing me smile a lot and seeing me be like this very shy full person at times and stuff like that, even though I'm a radio broadcaster and I show people a different side of me. People are used to seeing my signature smile and everything, but behind the smile is pain, is sadness, you know I know it's such a cliche to say that you never know what a person is going through, right? It's very deep. It's very deep when you find out a person's story and you learn from it. So, um, so yeah, but I'm very fortunate enough to really be on here this evening and to be very transparent and very vulnerable with you all about my healing journey, which I didn't even know that I was on a healing journey until most recently. Like, oh, okay. So this is what it feels like. Um, yeah. So everything you wanted to know about why I do the things that I do, why I create content or certain type of shows and content is only because it comes from pain, it comes from heartbreak, it comes from sadness, it comes from not having somebody with you to really help you with what you need help with, you know, and having to learn everything on your own, which is okay. Some people have to learn things on their own, right? Like I'm doing. Um, I don't know everything. I really don't. Not at 40. You know, you think that you know everything, but in reality, you don't. You just don't. You know, I'm still learning about as much as I can at 40, and I look forward to still learning new things at 41 and 42 and 43 and so forth and so forth and so forth. You know. And I learn a lot just by talking to different people from all walks of life. No matter what your political party is, no matter what your belief system is, no matter what you believe in or what your lifestyle is, I learn from everybody. And everybody have experienced some form of heartbreak, and I asked them, "How have you dealt with it? Like, how have you overcame it?" Right? Because there's some people who did not overcome it, and unfortunately, everything didn't end in a happy ending. Like, how did you overcome your situation after your heartbreak? You know, so those are the conversations that I find myself in with people. Yeah, so that's what I've been dealing with, you all, for the past 4 years. Um, I've been vocal about certain things in some of my podcast episodes and in some of my radio shows and whatever platform or platforms I have been invited to. Um, but I wanted to go in depth a little bit more and be transparent about certain things that I've dealt with, you know, um, low self esteem, depression, anxiety, everything. Because I feel like anybody that's watching or somebody that's watching this taping right now can relate. And maybe you just need to listen to somebody like myself to not only get validation, but just to hear a person out and know that you're not alone. You may feel like you're alone and everybody else is living their good life based on what they show you on social media. But even on social media, there are people that are hiding their pain behind these glass walls and pictures and videos and stuff of them showing how their lifestyle is currently, or pretending that they got it all, and in fact, in reality, they don't. It's something that's going on internally with them, you know yeah. But it's great to share. I feel very comfortable in being vulnerable about my mental state, about my uh physical, about where I'm at spiritually, and you know I feel great in just taking time out of my busy schedule, because I do have a busy schedule, to engage with you guys and then let you all know how I'm doing. I'm doing okay. I take one day at a time. That's it. I take one day at a time, and I talk to people, I engage with people, friends and family members, associates, colleagues, whoever, as much as possible, and making sure that I do my due diligence also to check in on people as well. Because, like I said earlier, everybody's going through something. I know plenty of people right now that are going through some form of mental health issue or mental illness or some form of behavioral pattern, which could serve as a cry for help, you know? And we all got to be there for each other to listen and to provide solutions as much as possible, and just be there for them. So, once again, I wanted to come on here for just a little bit and talk with you all, um, and just make sure that I keep you all abreast on how I'm doing. And I look forward to presenting Therapy Ain't No Joke coming soon. Um, I'm really looking forward to it because we're going to get more into it, as far as having candid conversations, even at times uncomfortable conversations about mental health and all that important stuff. September 11th, 2024, that is the premiere date for Therapy Ain't No Joke. But yeah, and I'm glad that I was able to tell you all more about uh what I've been going through, and the question that somebody asked me in the text, because I was looking down at my phone here, is like, are you still dating? Like, is this is it going to, is your healing journeys going to uh prevent you or going to cause you to put your dating journey on hold? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just at a place right now. If I could answer that question, I'm just at a place right now where if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Um, do I want to get married? Absolutely. I want to get married one day. I want to get married to the right person. I want to get married to the person who I could see myself building with, I can grow old with, and who understands me. Because people right now in this dating scene, in this dating world, they just want to be with somebody that understands them. you know, I think we put too much weight and price tags on dating and relationships, and that can be problematic in the near future. That can be very problematic. But each is on though. Um, I've been on a lot of dating platforms, even well recognizable dating shows and platforms. Um, I also see them as teachable moments as well too. And those are very teachable moments, and it goes back to what I said before about unhealed people attracting unhealed people. And that's why I said what I said when I was on the Porsche show last year, when I said that you know, I don't think people should put themselves out there if they are unhealed. You need to kind of work on yourself before you put yourself out there in the dating scene. But for clarification purposes, I wasn't just only talking about people, I was also talking about myself because I too am guilty of putting myself out there too quick after my last relationship, you know. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But it is going on at 11 o'clock p.m. live, real time. Like I said, folks, Soul Days Live, new episode August 4th at 9 p.m. That is on a Sunday. I'm going to have Baron come on the show. I may have a surprise guest come on the show as well, too. SoulDaysLive@gmail.com is the email address if you or someone you know wants to come on Soul Days Live. But in the meantime, there goes the GoFundMe link there if you want to send your monetary support for my medical needs and all that good stuff. Or you can cash at me, $Reach One Communications. I had to put on my radio voice there for that. $Reach One Communications if you want to donate and show your support either on this content or for my medical needs, whichever one you feel best to do. All right. Thank you all so much for watching me live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at Sean Garvey AATL on Instagram. If you haven't followed me yet, please follow me. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check in on other people. Um, and remember that life is not too short. It is what you make of it. Okay. All right. Once again, um, peace and blessings in transition to Erica Ash and Chino XL and anybody that we have lost this week or today. And please feel free to email me and check in with me, and I will check in with you. Okay. God bless you all. Have a great night, and I will catch you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Be blessed.